Michigan's got a big game against Washington tomorrow, and a lot of things are on the line for this team, this program, and their head coach, Sherrone Moore. I am James Yoder. You're watching the Michigan Football Report. The thing I'm most concerned about regarding Sherrone Moore and his tenure at Michigan through a season and a half is he does not seem to lose close ball games. When he loses bad. You guys all remember Texas last year. It was 31-12. Michigan scored a touchdown at the end in scrub time. It could have been 49-3 for all we know. They lost at Washington last year in a game that was just perplexing at Illinois. Maybe one of the worst first halves in Michigan football history. Now, Oregon, number one, came into the big house last year. Michigan lost by 21, but Oregon actually put in 2 late touchdowns. I think it was a lot closer, but again, gave up touchdowns. Sherrone Moore lost to number 8 Indiana by 5 points in a game they could have won, should have won. His only close loss as a Michigan football coach. 24-13 this year at Oklahoma, and then USC 31-13. 6 of his 7 losses as Michigan head coach have been by 10 points or more. That means they weren't really even in the game, didn't have a chance necessarily to win, didn't have the ball in their hands to win 6 of the 7 games late in. Now, I want to kind of just tell you the opposite of that is they won last year 27-24 to USC. They won last year 27-24 again. The week after that, Minnesota. They won 24-17 against a bad Michigan State team last year. And then 13-10 against Ohio State, 19-13 against Alabama. So if you were to take those one-score wins and turn them into losses, or even half of them, Michigan's like, a 5-7 team last year, and it is not good. Sherrone Moore wins some close games, and that is to be applauded. But what he's missing is that key ingredient that make head coaches successful is that you get a big percentage of games that go into one score. You are winning majority of those, right? But if you're not within one score, you're not going to win the game. So if he's losing by 17 points, or 14 points, 11 points, 18 points, or worse, Sherrone Moore is going to have a short tenure as the head coach of this program. All right, let's get into our Michigan Football Report mailbag. I took a bunch of questions from you guys on Monday's show, and we're going to answer those questions here on Friday. Eric Politz, I hope it's polite. He says, is Marlon Klein healthy? He hasn't made an impact since the New Mexico game. If he isn't healthy, then sit him until he can make a positive impact in the passing game. Now, he went and he traveled for the Oklahoma game and has really played ever since, but the production has not been there. Even had a drop or two in the last couple games. 6 catches in the opener, right? 90 yards, I believe it was, in that first game of the season, but only 6 catches since in the 4 games he has played. Missed 1, I believe it was. 4 games he's played, had almost as many drops, 2 or 3 drops as catches since then. Some upside to this tight end group is Hogan Hansen, who played in a couple games, right? Played in the opener, played in the Central Michigan game, then missed the Wisconsin game, missed the Nebraska game. He got his most snaps against USC, 24 snaps, only 3 behind what Marlon Klein had. Klein had 27 snaps. He had 24. After missing the prior 2 games, he was back against USC, traveled out to LA, got 24 snaps. My biggest thinking, whether it's Klein, whether it's Hogan Hansen, whether it's Jordan Marshall, not Jordan Marshall, it's other players, is that Michigan needs to use the tight end more. They've got 3 or 4 guys with Max Bredesen, especially. I know he's more of a fullback. Michigan needs to stop forcing what seems to be their base set is 3 wide receiver football. They don't have 3 wide receivers on this team that are good enough to play championship level football at the wide receiver position. You've got Andrew Marsh. You've got Donovan McCulley, and that's it. That is it. There's no need to have Samaj Morgan on the field as much as possible. There was no need to have Channing Goodwin as much on the field as they did the first 2, 3, 4 games of the season before the emergence of Andrew Marsh. Get out of this 3 wide receiver, 1 tight end, 1 running back set. Either go 2 wide receivers, 2 tight ends, and a running back, or put a fullback back there a little more often because the wide receiver and the passing game connection is just not happening. You're not fooling anybody. You're not fooling anybody. Chip Lindsey and certainly Sherrone Moore. Matt Badish, longtime viewer of the show. Thanks so much for the question here in the comment. Matt, he says, if Michigan fired Moore at season's end, I would want them to shoot for the moon for the next football coach. And Jed Fisher, I think he means Jed Fish, ain't it. Just another person said Jed Fish would be great. He always improved teams. He's a great OC at Michigan. So a little bit of contrasting thoughts from Matt. from just another person there. I like Jedd Fisch. I thought he did a really good job his first couple of years at Michigan. I think he's done a good job through his entire coaching career. Turned Arizona into a viable, strong 9-10 win program. Then went and took a job at Washington, who had, frankly, the same setup. Everybody left, right? Michael Penix, Rome Odunze, this player, that player. They were returning 4 or 5 starters off that 2023 team into 2024, and he's had a better run over the season and a half he's been their head coach than Sherrone Moore has at Michigan. Is the quarterback playing a lot better than Michigan's 5-star number 1 player in America in Bryce Underwood. Better receivers. Some people might say even a better defense, although we will see what things look like on Saturday. Guys, we are in a subscriber battle, and I have been quietly kind of leading the pack. We have been quietly in the pack. You, myself, Jack, the 4 college football shows here at Chat Sports on YouTube. We jumped out to a big lead, and then some other teams have caught up to us. Some other shows have caught up to us. So these are the standings on Friday. 139 subscribers we've added this week. Ohio State Football Report, they are crawling, and they're catching up. They're sprinting towards us, I should say, not crawling. Crawled early. They're getting fast late. They had a big show on Wednesday. 131 subscribers. Tennessee Football Report, 96, and Alabama way down there with 41. Michigan beat them twice in the field in 2024. Now that we're beating them on YouTube. So subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I don't want to go into our production meeting. This goes through Sunday, so I don't want to go to the production meeting on Monday and be in second or third place because we've lost a few of these in the past. Let's make our weekend happy. Win the game, win the subscriber battle, subscribe, make great Michigan football content. Will be on the camera maybe an hour or two after the game. I've got my son's birthday party on Saturday, so it won't be an instant, immediate reaction, but it'll be sometime in the afternoon on Saturday. Sam with a question says, Moore, in caps, was never the guy. He's not a head coach. Michigan has to fire him before we start losing great players and recruits. Now, the one pushback I will have on people saying, like, how are you going to hire a coach at Michigan that's never been a head coach before? He needs to go to Central Michigan. He needs to coach at wherever, Rutgers, wherever it says, Toledo, Bowling Green beforehand, is there has been some real strong trajectory or, succession plans or hiring from within in college football in the past decade, right? Ryan Day at Ohio State, right? Can't be Michigan, won a national title, is right now has the best winning percentage in college football history, isn't eligible to be like in the record books, but through his first 7 seasons, he's got that more than Newt Rockne. You had Coach O, right? Didn't work out long-term, but he in his second or third year was the defensive line coach, got the head job, won the national championship himself. You had Lincoln Riley, studied and worked under Bob Stoops for a handful of years, got the job at Oklahoma, led them to the playoff for a couple of years, then went to USC. How about Marcus Freeman? National championship game last year, was at Cincinnati, went and took the DC job at Notre Dame. Their coach goes to LSU. He's elevated. So there is definitely a precedent for a guy coming up from within, working under a successful head coach, or in the LSU case, a guy who's kind of drifting off and ending his career like Les Miles did and taking it to new heights. It hasn't happened so far on the field. I think the recruiting has been a little bit better for Michigan, but I don't think that should be, I'm not a big maternity Ward Manuel fan, but I don't think you can necessarily blame him for that because there's been a lot of precedent of having success from hiring from within. Fanatic, or I should say our merch partner, has some great deals. We talked about these on Thursday, and this is the best one, right? So I showed you guys the shirt I had on yesterday, which was the hoodie. Well, this is kind of the upgraded version of that. It's the Jordan brand with the Michigan logo with the long sleeves. It is normally $85, only $39. Chatsports.com/hoodie sale. Link is down in the comments. Link is in the description. Go down there, click it, or type it in your browser right now. How about this shirt? Love this shirt. I've owned this shirt myself for a number of years. The Icon shirt, the Nike Michigan Football Icon shirt. Chatsports.com/MichIcon, MichIcon. $9 off, normally $35. You can get it for $26. Buy one right now. Don't wait and pay full price during the football, during the holiday season. Buy it now, stash it, save it up, give it as a Christmas present, but do not wait because these sales do not last once we get in the month of November and December. Get some great gifts for yourself, get them for the football season, or get one for a Christmas present early and don't miss out and pay full price. All right, we've got some more questions coming here on the Michigan Football Report. Aster Simovich Law. So, hey, law, Jack, the law. He says, we're 2 years removed from the Natty, and we put this product on the field. It's not good enough. Offense is terrible. Defense has not been great. Yada, yada. Play calling is terrible. How do we not get sufficient talent in the transfer portal? I hate the Buckeyes as much as anyone, but every year they reload with new coaches, new quarterbacks. We're rebuilding, and why? I have nothing that I can disagree with on this comment. I have nothing that I could say that is not true for what our esteemed legal scholar here, Aster Simovich Law, says, because it does seem that Michigan forever, but in the Harbaugh and Moore years, it's like so quarterback dependent. You went into 2017 season and you had Wilton Spake, but even before Spake got hurt, it was like, this isn't right. Something's not right here with this team. And that season fell apart. And you go into 2020, didn't have a starting quarterback returning after Shea Patterson, and that season fell apart. You come forward, whether it was Harbaugh or Sherrone Moore in 2024, it's like, gosh, what are we doing here? Do we not see the talent on the practice field for the last 1, 2, 3 years to know we didn't have a quarterback in the 2024 season? We've got to rely on a true freshman in 2025. And frankly, a guy who can't throw a football as your backup in Jaden Davis as your star freshman last year, it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And I think it proves in some ways that Jim Harbaugh was coaching out J.J. McCarthy's career, and that was it. He wasn't thinking the future. And Sherrone Moore just didn't identify the talent that Michigan needed to compete at a high level, from offensive line to quarterback to wide receiver, especially. Quarterback that got solved thanks to some outside influences. Maybe we were involved in that a little bit, maybe not. You'll never know. But I agree with you. Michigan should be reloading in this second year and not, again, seem like you're in a rebuild and have a ton of question marks at all positions around the field. We are all over social media, guys, so make sure you are following me on Twitter. It is at James Yoder. The Michigan Football Report is on Instagram at Michigan Football Report. Same handle is over there on TikTok, Michigan Football Report. And if you go to Facebook, we are 90,000 strong on Facebook, but they will not let us change the name of the page, so it's still the old URL, facebook.com/Harbaugh. Go Blue. Those are down in the comments and the description. Go follow us across all social media. Go Blue 982. Until now, I've been on the fire Sherrone Moore train. USC, Oklahoma, we're on his loss list to start the season, but didn't anticipate seeing them regress as they went on, wasting talent. They need to be careful, or transferring will kill the roster, he says. Part of me would like to have Ryan Day hang 100 on Michigan this year just to force the admin's hand and make changes, starting with the AD. Get rid of Ward Banner. A lot to say there. I don't agree with the whole Ohio State thing. I'm beat Ohio State again till the core, till the end. Never root for Ohio State. I don't even care if it makes Michigan better somehow. I wouldn't even root, Jack, for Ohio State to beat Michigan if for some reason it meant that Michigan got a quality loss and made the playoff. If that was impossible. I know it's not possible, but like you heard a number of years ago, like 2015, Mark D'Antonio, coach of Michigan State, was like rooting, as maybe it was that year or the year after, one of those years, he was like, oh, I'm rooting for Ohio State still, even though if Ohio State had lost to Michigan, Michigan State would have made the playoff, right? He was still rooting for Michigan to lose. I didn't understand that one, but I kind of get it. If it's Michigan, if they could ever lose to Ohio State and get better, I still would root. If they helped them some way, I'd still root for them to win. But they didn't look good. They didn't look like they were competitive against Oklahoma. Didn't look like they were competitive against USC. And more than anything, whether they were at the same talent level or not, we can argue with that all day. But the thing that is most concerning is they look like they didn't have a game plan to win either game, right? On offense and certainly on defense. Certainly against Oklahoma with John Mateer running across everywhere. Certainly against USC with them screen passing Michigan's defense to death, or handing the ball off up the middle on 3rd and 26. Brandon Hillman's trying to throw a shoulder at a guy. The guy runs 49 yards when Michigan was trying to get back in the game. It's concerning because the planning is on the coaches and it is not on the players. I'm going to ask you guys this question. Think forward 2 years. This will be year 4 for Sherrone Moore. Will he be the head coach of this program in 2027? Give me a simple yes or no. 2027, year 4, if he would remain the coach, 24, 25, 26, 27, yes or no, will he be the head coach of Michigan, which will be Bryce Underwood's junior year? Kyle Hartman with the question, with the comment I said, get rid of Moore and Wink. My Lord. And the thing I saw on social media this week that was the most wild, most infuriating thing is look at this. Look at what we've got going on here. Can I go around and get close? I don't know if I can see right there, right? Do you see this area right here? Do you see this area right there, right here my hand is? Look at that receiver, Jack. They're on the 44-yard line, okay? 44-yard line. 5, 10, 15 yards of cushion. 15 yards of cushion. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys in the box, okay? 7 guys against in the box against 3 wide receivers, yet you've got a player to the wide side of the field with no one on him. What are we doing here, yo? Wink, my man. What is this all about? I said last year after they beat Ohio State and Alabama, we were doing away with Stink Fartendale. And then I saw, maybe I came up with myself a can, Stink, Fart, and Bail, even worse than Fartendale because you fart, you just leave, right? Everybody else to deal with your, okay? I think he's kind of back. I think he might be back. Lot of pressure on Wink. The microscope is on you, buddy. I got my periscope on you. Boop, boop, boop. If you let Washington throw the ball over you, if you let the quarterback run for 150 yards, I don't know. Jim Knowles could be Michigan's defensive coordinator next year. Who knows? I would not like that because I think he's a schmuck, but it can't go on. You can't start seasons 4 and 3 in back-to-back years and continue to have the same coaching staff. We will see what happens. Christopher with the question saying, when Moore goes, we can't be giving the head coach to another guy who's never been head coach before. Someone who already knows what he's doing and doesn't need to figure out while they go. When Moore goes, Ward needs to go. He needs a new AD and head coach. Look, I mean, I'm going to give Ward Manuel some credit here. I think he doesn't understand business. I think for a long time he doesn't understand NIL. I think he was resistant to things. And he's hired seemingly a bad coach at both the football and the basketball position, while also letting Eric Bakich, the baseball coach, leave. We're also having two hockey coaches to retire and then a fire for off-the-field stuff. So it hasn't been going great for him. But as athletic director at Michigan, he's won a national championship. Right? He's won a national championship at football. He's been to a Final Four in basketball and had one bad hire in Sherrone Moore, but nailed it with Dusty May, the second one. Hopefully that doesn't, the change and Dusty doesn't regress at all. But we'll see with Sherrone Moore. He has the opportunity to win this game on Saturday. He has the opportunity to win 4 straight, go in the Ohio State game after that, 9-2, get another win over the Buckeyes, beat Ohio State again, and you're in the playoff. So let's not, write the ending of the Sherrone Moore story or the Ward Manuel story just yet. But I think the general consensus was after Harbaugh, he took the Georgia job so late. It was like January 22nd or something like that. I don't know if Michigan had another choice. I don't know if there's another coach out there that would be willing to come in and take a job that late in the year and, leave their players and their administration and their coaching staff dirty as you were already 2 or 3 weeks into the semester in 2024. Let me know, guys, if Sherrone gets fired after this season, if he only makes it 2 years as Michigan's head coach, comment your number one candidate. It can't be Curt Cignetti because yesterday he signed an 8-year contract, almost $100 million to remain as Indiana's coach. So let me know who would be the ideal candidate that you think Michigan could get and that you want them to call first as the next head coach. Lost in the sauce. Easy does it there, buddy. Easy does it there. We need to throw the bag at Ben Herbert to come back to Michigan. Michigan lost his physicality, a lot of injuries. It's going to be weaker. He's not coming back to Michigan, so I'm not sure what to say. It was a bummer that he left. I thought he was going to stay, but Jim Harbaugh kind of gutted this program, which I give Urban Meyer some credit. It wasn't directly there. Urban could have gutted Ohio State a lot worse than he did when he took the Jags job and didn't. Maybe one of the things that I question Harbaugh, although at some level people look out for themselves, so maybe it's not the worst thing in the world. He won Michigan a national championship. Reminder, I cannot go into Monday's staff meeting losing this battle. We're on, we're the microscope's on us. We've got to have the most subscribers of our 4 college football shows. So please subscribe to the channel. If you don't want to stay subscribed, unsubscribe Monday afternoon, but just give me a subscribe before Monday, and we will hopefully be having a win on Saturday into that Monday. I will see you guys after the game sometime, a couple hours after the game tomorrow on Saturday. Till then, go Blue.